This is On Point with Miss Britt, bringing you Week 15 NFL recap. So I already know why y'all here, and I will be discussing the Giants-Commanders game at the end of this video. So let's get into a few things first. So the Colts versus Vikings. They played on Saturday, so we had some games on Saturday and Sunday. I still can't get over this because I'm like, how in the world did this happen? Like, I'm still not understanding. Like, this is a bunch of bullcrap. All right. So the Colts were up 33-0 at halftime. That's right, 33-0. In the second half, the Vikings started making a comeback. So KJ Osborne had a 2-yard touchdown catch. CJ Ham had a 1-yard touchdown run. Justin Jefferson, he had an 8-yard touchdown catch. And Adam Thielen, he had a 1-yard catch. And then Dalvin Cook put a stamp on it to send him in overtime when he had a 64-yard run off of a screen pass and ended up getting a touchdown. And then the Colts, all they could answer for is a freaking field goal. I'm not understanding that. And then with 2:19 left on the clock in the fourth, the Colts was stopped on 4th and 1 on the Minnesota 36, attempting a quarterback sneak. And yeah, it was pretty much a wrap. They ended up going into overtime. And the Vikings ended up kicking a field goal to win. 39-36. Which makes no sense to me. Now, not only has Matt Ryan blown a lead in the Super Bowl, the biggest lead in the Super Bowl, he has now blown the biggest lead in NFL history. Like, really? Kirk Cousins, he passed for 460 yards and had 4 touchdowns. And then, like I said, they won the game in overtime when Greg Joseph kicked a 40-yard field goal. And the Vikings clinched the NFC North in the playoffs. Still can't believe that. Moving on, another game on Saturday night, we had the Bills versus the Dolphins. It was a winter wonderland in Orchard Park. The Dolphins trailed most of the game, but then took the lead when Tua threw a 20-yard touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill with 2:30 left on the clock in the third, bringing the score 26-21. Jason Sanders kicked a 47-yard field goal beginning of the fourth. The Bills overcame an 8-point deficit coming into the fourth. The Bills, they had scoring drives on final 2 possessions. Dawson Knox had a 5-yard touchdown catch, and then Tyler Bass kicked a 25-yard field goal to seal the win, and the Bills ended up winning 32-29. Josh Allen threw for 304 yards and 4 touchdowns, and the Bills have clinched the playoffs. All right, Lions versus Jets was on Sunday. So, Jared Goff, he threw a go-ahead 51-yard touchdown pass to Brock Wright on 4th and 1 with 1:49 remaining, which put them up 2017. Jets got the ball back with 3 timeouts left, which they only used 2 on the final drive. And Greg Zuerlein's 58-yard field goal attempt was no good. So the Lions won 2017. Beginning of the game, Khalif Raymond put the Lions on the board with a 47-yard punt return. Jets CJ Uzomah, he had a 40-yard touchdown catch in the second and a 1-yard touchdown catch in the fourth to put the Jets up. But it wasn't enough. They ended up losing. Jared Goff, he finished 22-38, 252 yards, and a touchdown. Now, we had an upset on Sunday. The Cowboys versus the Jags, the Jaguars. And this game went into overtime. So in overtime, the Jaguar safety, Rashawn Jenkins, he got an interception and returned it for 51 yards to win the game in overtime, 40-34. So Dak Prescott was attempting to throw a pass to Noah Brown, and he threw it too low, and that's how Jenkins was able to grab that interception. So this ended Dallas's 4-game winning streak. And the Jags came back from a 27-10 deficit to lead in the fourth. Zay Jones, he had a 3-yard touchdown catch that put them up. And then after that, Dallas answered with Noah Brown having a 13-yard touchdown pass from Dak Prescott. And then Riley Patterson kicked a 48-yard field goal to tie the game and sending them to overtime, which Jags end up winning. So Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence, a.k.a. Sunshine, he finished 27 for 42, 318 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. But lo and behold, Dallas didn't have to do much because hours later, they still clinched the playoffs with the Giants win, and we will get into that later. All right. So they were sad the fans were sad during the day, but they happy now they clinched the playoffs. Who cares? All right, Chiefs versus Texans. This game also went into overtime. So in overtime, Jerick McKinnon had a 26-yard touchdown run to give the Chiefs the win. They won 30-24. Chiefs got ball first, and they had to punt it away after Mahomes was sacked by Blake Cashman on 3rd down. Then Texas quarterback Davis Mills, he fumbled on a scramble, and then it was recovered by Kansas City's Willie Gay on the Texans' 26-yard line, and then that's when Jerick McKinnon made that 26-yard run. Okay, and then Texans QB Davis Mills, he threw for 121 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kansas City, they overcame two turnovers and a season-high 102 penalty yards. And Mahomes was 36 for 41, 336 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also had a 5-yard rushing touchdown. And the Chiefs clinched the AFC West. Bengals versus Bucks, and this was Joe Burrow's first start against Tom Brady. Bengals were down 17 points in the second quarter and managed to kick a field goal before the half, bringing the score 3-17. The second half was a whole different story. Burrow came out swinging. He was on fire. He threw 4 touchdowns. A 5-yard touchdown to T. Higgins. 3-yard touchdown to Tyler Boyd. 8-yard touchdown to Jamar Chase. And a 12-yard touchdown to Mitchell Wilcox. Tom Brady lost. First time in career after having a lead of 17 points. He had 2 interceptions. He also was sacked once, and then he had he fumbled the ball, which was recovered by Cincy, so he didn't have a pretty good game. And then there was so Bengals ended up winning 34-23. And there was a little bit of controversy after the game because a lot of folks thought that he didn't shake Burrow's hand, but he actually shook his hand real quick and then ran off the field. And we didn't see it. But the Bengals cleared it up real quick on Twitter. Okay, Patriots versus the Raiders. Lord have mercy. I was just about to get on Raiders fans. Like, here we go. Blowing a lead again. So the Raiders led 17-3 at the half. And they allowed the Patriots to score 21 straight points after the half. And then the end of the game was tied. It could have easily went into overtime. But guess what the Patriots did? Guess what they did? So, the Patriots attempted a lateral that backfired on them. So Pat's running back, Stevenson, he ran up the middle for 23 yards. And instead of going down, he decides to do a lateral to Jacoby Myers. And instead of Jacoby Myers going down, which Mac Jones is seen trying to signal him to go down, he tosses the ball in the air. And Chandler Jones catches it, does a stiff arm to Mac Jones, and goes 48 yards to the end zone. And the Raiders beat the Patriots 30-24. What a way to lose. That sucks. Could have easily went into overtime. Also, the Raiders scored 2 touchdowns in final 32 seconds. And now that has hurt New England's playoff team. All right, so Titans versus Chargers. So the Titans tied the game with 48 seconds left when Ryan Tannehill did a 1-yard quarterback sneak. And then Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert led a 52-yard drive that ended with Cameron Dicker kicking a 43-yard field goal with 4 seconds left to win the game. So Chargers beat Titans 17-14. And so now we're going to get into the controversial game that everybody keeps talking about, that last call. Don't worry, I'm going to get to it. So first of all, a round of applause to Giants rookie Kayvon Thibodeau. Because if it wasn't for him putting up what he did, I don't even think we would have been in this game for real, for real. He really stepped up. He left everything out on the field. Okay, so he stripped Taylor Heineke of the ball and spun around and recovered for a touchdown. And he finished with 3 tackles for loss with a game-high total of 12 tackles. So he definitely was the MVP. So Daniel Jones, before heading into the game, he was 0-9 in prime time heading into this matchup. He was 21 for 32, 160 yards, and led a 97-yard drive that ended up with Saquon Barkley scoring a 3-yard touchdown run. Saquon Barkley was held to 39 yards in 3.5 quarters, and then he turned it around late in the fourth by leading a drive that ended up in a field goal by Graham Gano, and then Barkley finished 87 yards and a touchdown. Okay, so now let's get into what happened at the end of the game. So first of all, Washington was at 3rd and goal, and they scored a touchdown, but it was reversed due to an illegal shift by Terry McLaurin. So now they're on 4th and goal play. Okay, so basically it was a pass breakup by Darnay Holmes defending Curtis Samuel, and they didn't call pass interference. And I'm just going to show the picture and let y'all be the judge of that, and that's all I got to say on that. But what I will say is there were a lot of missed calls. For one, on that final play, Kayvon was trying to sack Taylor Heineke, and he got poked in the eye and was out of the play right then and there, for one. For two, prior to that play, Daniel Jones, there was a face mask on Daniel Jones as he was running 7 yards for a first down. So that ain't even the only thing that happened. So Washington is some cheaters. They don't even deserve to get that PI call. First of all, they missed a field goal and they still put the extra point on the scoreboard. So that's another thing that so I don't even want to hear it. The Giants ended up winning 20-12, and their playoff chances are still alive. Washington's playoff chances are still alive. They just got to win out. So we both still in this thing. The Lions got to lose, Seattle got to lose, and Washington got to win some games. We at least only got to win one more game, or if Detroit loses this weekend, we in there. All right. 49ers beat the Seahawks 21-13, and they win the NFC West and clinched playoffs. Browns beat the Ravens 13-3, and the Rams and Cardinals, they have been eliminated from playoff contention due to their losses over the weekend. And that is all the recap I have today. Make sure you go follow my Instagram on_pointsport614, as well as YouTube. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'm out.